Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm here to do a book review on The Stranger Diaries by Elly Griffiths. So this is a mystery novel and it's one I've had on my radar for a couple of years now because I believe that this won the Edgar Award in the year that it came out or something along those lines. And so I was like, okay, this is probably a pretty good mystery book, but I just never picked it up until now. In this story, you're mainly following this character named Claire, who is a high school English teacher. This takes place in the UK, by the way. And she is also researching this Gothic author named R.M. Holland, who actually lived in or was a part of the school that Claire teaches at. And so she always teaches about his most famous writing called The Stranger and things along those lines. And one day she finds out that one of the other English teachers, who is also one of her best friends, has been brutally murdered. And there's a note left at the scene that has a quote from that famous piece of writing called The Stranger. And it turns out that there's something about her and her life that connects her to this murder, and things kind of start to escalate from there. This is a book that feels very much like a traditional dark mystery book. It's told from 3 different characters' perspectives, and I'm someone who doesn't necessarily need multiple perspectives, but I do think that it provides some interesting ways of threading in details and information about various characters around Claire's life and things like that. But you are mainly following 3 different characters: Claire's daughter, as well as one of the police detectives who is investigating. And there's something about the way that this book is written that it feels very spooky and eerie and haunting. I feel like this would be a really great book to read on rainy October night or something along those lines, because there's something about it that just the atmosphere of the place where the story is set just feels very haunting, and you just know that throughout the book that something's just off because of the way that the murder takes place and because of the way that everyone's talking about it and talking about the character who died and things like that. You're just there are some pieces that are missing here. And even just the way that Claire talks about what's happening and what's going on and things like that is just very interesting. And so it becomes one of those things where you're just is Claire an unreliable narrator? Is she holding information back, or is she not fully telling the truth about what's going on? Things along those lines. And so it just becomes very intriguing. The thing is this is a very successful mystery book. Again, I don't think I necessarily needed all 3 perspectives, but I kind of understand the 3rd perspective to a certain degree, because again, it brings in a couple of details about some of the side characters that add to the story and make everything make sense. But I do think that you could have just as easily told this book from a 3rd person omniscient narrator situation and still gotten all of those details in. But again, it does, at least the Claire sections, provide this level of is the reader in the know about everything that they need to know about and things like that. But yeah, it was just a really engaging mystery book. I feel like the ending was really surprising to me personally. I think especially because you're following the police detective for part of the story. At least in my head, I was like, okay, well, these are very much the clear suspects, so I definitely thought it was going to lead a specific way. And then it didn't, and I was just genuinely surprised. It does feel a little bit like there aren't enough clues to lead to the ending. Not that the ending doesn't make any sense at all, but it does feel like it comes out of the blue. And so part of me is I kind of wish there were more breadcrumbs that led to the ending. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe there are breadcrumbs and I just missed it, which is totally possible. So yeah, by the end of it, I was just really surprised by how everything turned out and how it all ended. I wasn't expecting it to go where it goes. There's definitely some twists and turns in the plot that happen in the middle of the book that I was very surprised by. Not gonna say what, but if you read the book, I'm sure you can figure out what I mean. And yeah, it was just kind of really fun to read a more traditional mystery book, because I feel that's kind of harder to find. Finding something that's not a cozy mystery, but also finding something that's not super dark can be a little bit difficult in my opinion, and also well written and things along those lines. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I feel like if you are someone who enjoys mystery books, this is worth picking up. It definitely makes sense to me why this won the Edgar Award. And yeah, I'm definitely going to check out more Elly Griffiths in the future. If you have any recommendations about any of her other books, feel free to leave that down in the comment section, because I'm definitely intrigued by this author now, because I've always kind of had her on my radar because of this book, and now that I've read it, I'm like, okay, I think I enjoy her stuff. So I definitely am intrigued to check out more stuff. I'm I'm pretty sure she came out with a book within the past like year or two. So yeah, those are my quick thoughts on The Stranger Diaries by Elly Griffiths. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read this book, or like I said, anything else by Elly Griffiths, and have any recommendations about a book I should pick up next. Or if you just want to recommend some mystery books in general, feel free to do that as well. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching.